Hi everybody, it's Jeanette Vilda. Today, instead of having a journal, I'm bringing you a bunch of little ephemera pieces. This is a design team project for Luise Heinzl, and all of her information will be down below. She has some beautiful, beautiful kits, nice art, and she also makes journals, and you can buy those as well. And what I wanted to do with this, so what I used of her kit is the Vintage ATC postcards. Again, that link will be down below. And what I wanted to do is show that you can make a lot of gorgeous ephemera for your journals with very few items. One thing I see a lot in comments is, I don't have a lot of stuff. And I basically used three things here. Some pattern paper, so either pattern paper, by that I mean either just a solid color or actual pattern paper, some book paper, and the kit itself. And that's it. I did use some dies, but those aren't necessary. You can, like for instance here, you can cut. If you got a die, obviously, there's special scissors that can put designs down the side, or just, squares. Square is perfectly fine. So here, let me take you through some of these, show you what I've done. Let's see. Let's start with the most basic. On this one, again, I like to layer, just to give it a little, especially if this is a tag that's going to come in and out, give it a little stability. So there is some plain paper and then some pattern paper. It also allows you to have room on the back for journaling, an image, whatever you want to do. And here you can see there's no ribbon, there's no extras. It's just the image. I didn't do anything to it, plain and simple, but it's still very pretty. There is a little inking around the edge. You don't necessarily need to do that. I like to add the inking just because I think it really emphasizes things. When you look at it, the image without it, it's perfectly fine, but it just kind of makes things pop. So there's your most simple. Then I took this idea, so basically the same, you can see it's the same shape. And again, here's the same tag. This time, just layered some more paper. So there's the plain paper on the back with a layer of the book paper, some pattern paper just to emphasize the image. And again, didn't do anything to the image, plain and simple. What I did here was added a second one, again, plain paper with the book paper. And again, this is not even vintage. I mean, it's oldish. It's about, I think, from 1950 or so, 1960. But it's really not that old. And here I just took a piece of pattern paper again and just angled a cut. This image is from one of the postcards, and let me grab that real quick. Okay, so this is the ATC that I used to make this image. And this paper is 250 gram. And the paper that I used here in the back is this paper. This one is 160. Okay. And then what I did was, so I printed this on the 250, cut it out, and then layered it on to some cardstock. Grab a piece of the cardstock. The cardstock is 300. So you can really hear the difference. And what that does is, I know a lot of people like to use pop dots, the dimensionals. I find that, yes, it works really well, but things get squished, and I do not like that. And then I end up using so many of the pop dots that, you know, you're running out of money because you're using all your pop dots up. So what I like is to layer using just a little thicker paper. It's not quite as dimensional, but what I do is, for instance, on this one, what I like to do is look at the image and say, okay, so I've got one major image, that's the full image here, and then I've got another piece that I can take up, which is the girl with her doll. If I wanted to go up again, I could do the skirt and maybe her little bow. I could do the flowers separately. They're awfully tiny at some point. I mean, you could blow this up, make it bigger, and then you could really go into it. And I'll show you, depending on the image, I make multiple layers. And that, as you can see, I don't know if you can see that very well, gives it its dimension. And I am not that good at fussy cutting. And so if you get really, really close, you can see it's not the best fussy cutting. But my saving grace is using a nice dark ink. I use the walnut stain, distress ink. And that kind of covers up, if you will, some of your fussy cutting issues. And when you do layer it onto the harder, thicker cardstock, it does make it a little harder to then cut. Another way that you can, another thing you can use is the fun foam. What I do when I use the fun foam is, after I put the image on, when I'm cutting, I hold my scissors at an angle. Somehow, whenever I'm cutting fun foam and I cut it exactly straight, you know, you can see it, and it looks horrible. And all the jagged image, it's just, yeah, it's, for some reason, it just never looks good. So what I do is, if I hold my scissors at an angle, no problem. It looks really nice. And you don't see that from the outside. The only thing about the fun foam is that it is, depending on where you get it, you know, you can get much thinner fun foam. I haven't been able to find, mine tends to be pretty thick. So if I really want to have a lot of, you know, layers, like for instance, this one has 2 layers and several of them have 3 or 4 layers, it gets really, really high. And so if you only have one layer, fun foam is a perfect alternative if you have trouble cutting through this. So that's how I do that. And again, here it's just the book page, some pattern paper, and the image. So, and then taking this, slides right in there, and you've got a nice little piece of ephemera. And this one I did add a little bit of, this is, I think it's sari silk, but it, oh no, this might be muslin. I don't know. But what this, every piece that I'll show you that I used in this, it's all remnants. So just, what I do is I keep a little jar, and after I've done something, I just shove in every little piece. No, nothing gets wasted, just shove it all in. So I have one jar that's just my little remnants of my ribbons. Okay, so going up a little from that, well, not really. This image, or this ephemera piece is, again, this is the die cut, the paper with the book page. And on this one, what I did was take this, oh, here it is, took the image, and as you can see, it kind of has 2 layers to it. So when you're looking at it, you can see, oh, you know, there's a frame around it. So I simply printed it out twice. Always, if you're going to do layers, print them out. Look at the image beforehand, decide how many layers you want to have, and print those out at the same time, because later on, you don't want to accidentally get the size wrong. So you want the size to be exactly the same size, otherwise they won't layer right. So just printed it twice, and there's no extra paper here. This is simply the 250 gram paper, and then the extra, as you can see, the extra little inking really brings out the image. So that's all that was on that one. Let's see, then I'll show you this one. This one's a little different. So in this set, she's also got these wonderful little ATCs that simply has handwriting on it. These make great little backgrounds. So for instance, you could take out one of these little images and pop it onto that as a background. What I did was, again, on this one, this is the same die as before. This is the Tim Holtz die. Boy, I never remember the name of that die. But you can simulate this die very easily. It's simply the square with squares cut into it to make little slidey things. Nick, this Booksmith, what she does is takes a hole punch and punches on two sides and then cuts with an X-Acto knife across the top of from the top to top of the holes, bottom to bottom of the holes. So take a look at her page if you want to get another idea of how to do this yourself. And this one, again, very simple. I took the little ATCs with this signatures on it, backed it on the paper, and I've got some nice little tags. And they just slide in there, and you can put any other extra ephemera. So there's a nice little tag. Okay, let's see. Let's take this one. Here is simply, again, there's the plain paper and then the book paper. I put that on the back just for some pretties. And then used another punch. It's just a quarter punch. You could round it, you could skip it and leave it square. But it's just the same piece rectangle, one shorter than the other, and then glued along the edges there to form. Let me see if I've got something I can slide in there, because I didn't make an extra one. And probably this is too wide, but this makes a nice little pocket for anything. Another tag, a piece of paper, you know, any extra little thing to slide in there. And as you can see on this image, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. And again, this is all done with the 350, or sorry, the 300. And the 250 is the image. And like I said, just you can look for the different, so for here we've got the background piece is the postcard, or the ATC itself. And then you have the door with the table, so that's layer 2. And then the girl was layer 3. And then her little hand holding her hat is layer 4. And I cut around the flowers. I don't know if you can see that. And then in real life, it gives it just that extra little bit of dimension to the flowers as well. So you can look for that as well in an image. First thought might be to just go all the way around the flowers, make that one layer. But by making it 2 layers, it gives it a little bit more dimension. And I hope the dimensions are coming through. Oh, please focus. Or don't focus, just ignore me. Okay, so. And by the way, I'm sorry about the noise and the light. It is so hot. Germany is just roasting today. So we're having a lot of fun, and I have to keep the windows open or we're going to die, because Germany also doesn't like air conditioning. So, so another simple little embellishment. All right, then take it to the next level. So again, this is just this same little tag, square with corners. This time I made 3 of them and used a little hinge, which is really just a circle punch. So I circle punched the book pages and then this opens this way. And again, circle punched with the plain paper. Now this one I did add these two little stickers that I had in my stash. Totally not necessary. As you can see with this one, having the book page, you can put a picture on this. Maybe if you wanted to make sure that someone could journal on it, put a little bit of white gesso. That would make it, a nice white so that somebody could write on it. So I just happen to have these stickers that make nice little journaling spots. And so when it opens up, you've got a nice little chart panel. And again, the image all layered up. That one was a lot of fun. As you can see, this one has quite a few layers on it. Very easy. Okay, then this one is actually taken from Wendy's Journal Adventures, I think. This is, as you can see, an envelope. And then this is a second envelope, or actually this is the top of this envelope because this is a really long envelope. And I simply used the flap from this envelope to glue it to the back. And then you've got a pocket here and a pocket here. And you can still see the inside of the envelope, who cares? And again, it's nothing more than a little bit of paper, the book page, and my image. And again, that's layered up. And you can see nothing fancy, but it still looks so cute. I think when you emphasize the image, you don't have to do a lot of things around it. The image itself can be what makes it really pop and look nice. This one's simple. This only has 3 layers. So the back, the boy, and then the accordion. And yeah. Sorry, in real life these look so neat with all the layers. It just makes them look really 3D, and it really emphasizes the images. Okay, so this one is utilizing things around the house, which is a CD, one of those paper CD sleeves. This could be an envelope that has a window, really anything you got around. What this allows you to do is put in another image inside and have a pretty little picture so that you can see that through it. And again, nothing on this one. I just added some book page on the back just to give it a little emphasis. You can attach this into your journal by gluing this onto a page, and then it would flip on. You could decide you don't want to keep it open, close it up, put an image inside, glue it straight down to the page. Got a pretty little window with an image inside. Just paper clip it in, and you got a little guy there. So all kinds of ways that you can use these, and that works for the envelopes with the windows as well. So I really like little guys that have windows. Things are a little more expensive here than they are typically in the States in terms of stationery supplies, but I got 100 of these for, I think it was like €3 or €4, which is not bad at all. So, and just a little bit of inking, and there's this one. Let's see if I've got that immediately available. I don't think I've got it exactly where I can grab it, but it's simply it's got a plain gray background, and she sits on that. So, and I just cut her out, and again, she's all layered up. Okay, then this is also, I believe, a Wendy's Journal Adventure. Extremely, extremely simple. This is a strip of paper. Fold up one end, glue 2 sides, and you have a nice little pocket. So here I've just taken one of the, upside down, one of the ATCs and slipped it in there. You can see I didn't really do anything to it. It's just nice and plain. And then another fold. And depending on how, here I've decided to put a little pad of paper. And depending on what you want to have here determines how, far up you put your fold. That's folded over, and you're done. Really, really simple. And again, it's nothing more than the plain paper. This is cardstock again, so this is the 300. Actually, I think this might be 260 or 280. A little bit of book page. Now, what I did here, I love to use magnets. Magnets are a really good friend to have. Nicely holds it closed. They don't add too much bulk, and lovely. Love to use it, but it's really not necessary. And there's so many ways you could put this in. You could, again, glue it, staple it, put it in a pocket. And again, we have, let me see, this is this one. So that little one there. And again, I just cut them out of the image and layered them up. It's very simple. The last one is this another Wendy's? Probably. I took a lot of, she's got a lot of great ideas for doing little ephemera pieces. I kind of changed it up. What I did was took an envelope, and then I took a piece of paper, my 260 pound paper, or gram paper, just folded it, made it exactly the size of the envelope, and then put it right over and glued the back to the back of the envelope. And cut off the end because this was a top-loading envelope, so made it a side-loading envelope so that I could put, and here it's nothing more than an index card, so another stationery item that you might have around the house with a piece of pattern paper glued on, nothing extravagant. And I used the same paper to line the inside so that, and that's just like this little tiny sliver right there just to hide because the inside of the envelope was kind of ugly. So it just makes it a little, give it a little pretty. Again, this same paper layered there, another piece of this paper with a piece of the book paper to make a nice little belly band for 2 more of the ATCs. And then on the outside, simply a piece of paper, piece of the same paper that I used here. And then again, another one of the ATCs, all layered up again. So, and because I have to, apparently, I managed to put the book page on the back upside down. So as long as you turn it over this way, it's right side up. But you can always, again, just glue this into your book this way. So really simple. So there you go. Very, very few supplies. None of these really even need the little ribbons. I just added those to show that, give it a little bit more bling. Very few supplies. Really 3 things plus some stuff you got around the house. And you've got a whole suite of really cute little ephemera pieces. So next time, don't say, I don't have anything. You've got it, and you can make some really cute stuff. So definitely go check out Luise Heinzl's page. Take a look at her kits, and I hope you enjoyed, and hope you learned something or got some ideas. And please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.